It started with a feeling I couldn't ignore, a slow-growing doubt that took root in my chest and refused to go away. Emily and I had been married for 4 years. To anyone watching from the outside, we were the picture of a perfect couple. A lovely home in the suburbs, dinner parties with mutual friends, planned vacations, inside jokes, and matching Christmas pajamas. But behind all of that was something quietly eroding. It started subtly, Emily keeping her phone closer than usual, stepping into the other room to take calls, laughing at messages she wouldn't show me, claiming she was tired all the time, disinterested in intimacy, distracted during conversations. I told myself I was being paranoid. I wanted to believe that our rough patch was just the ebb and flow of marriage, but deep down I knew something had changed. Then came the news: Emily was pregnant. I should have been overjoyed, and part of me was, but a bigger part, the part that had been silently suffering in suspicion, felt something between confusion and fear. Still, I embraced it. I told myself this child would bring us back together, that we'd reconnect over late-night feedings and baby giggles, that we'd finally look at each other like we used to. When Ava was born, I remember holding her in my arms and thinking how small and perfect she was. But then I looked at her again, and again. I saw Emily's features, sure, the nose, the soft cheeks, but there was nothing of me, no resemblance at all, not even a flicker. I told myself I was being ridiculous. Genetics were unpredictable. I'd seen blue-eyed parents with brown-eyed children, but the feeling didn't go away. In fact, it grew stronger every time I looked into her deep brown eyes, eyes so unlike mine or anyone in my family. Emily never commented on it. She just smiled, handed me the baby, and acted like everything was fine. 2 weeks later, when she was asleep and the baby lay swaddled in her bassinet, I swabbed Ava's cheek and mailed off a DNA test. I didn't tell anyone. For days I waited, my heart twisting in my chest. Every bottle I fed her, every diaper I changed, every lullaby I whispered felt like a growing betrayal, like I was playing a role in a lie I hadn't agreed to. The results came 12 days later in a plain envelope. I opened it in the car. My hands were shaking. My pulse was racing. I read the words over and over until my vision blurred. 0% probability of paternity. Ava wasn't mine. I couldn't breathe. My stomach turned. My world shattered. For hours I sat in that car, staring out at nothing, wondering how the hell my life had turned into this. I thought about confronting Emily that night, but I didn't. I wasn't ready. I needed to process it first, to stop myself from exploding. 2 days passed. I barely looked at her. She noticed but didn't ask. Maybe she already knew. That Friday night, I made dinner, rocked the baby to sleep, then sat across from her at the table and slid the DNA results in front of her. She froze. Her face turned pale. Her eyes scanned the paper, then slowly lifted to mine. "You did a test?" she whispered. "You cheated," I replied, my voice cold and empty. "Don't act surprised that I found out." She opened her mouth, but no sound came out. Finally, she said, "James, I can explain." "Don't," I cut her off. "No more lies. Who is he?" She looked down, her hands trembling. "It was a mistake," she whispered. "It didn't mean anything." "But the baby sure means something, doesn't she?" I snapped. "You got pregnant with someone else's child and decided to raise her with me like nothing ever happened?" "I didn't know she wasn't yours," she said quietly. "I hoped she was. I wanted her to be." "So you played the odds," I said bitterly. "And when she was born, you saw she wasn't mine and still kept lying." "I made a choice," she said, tears now streaming down her face. "I chose us. I wanted our marriage to work. I thought we could still be a family." I stared at her. "You chose yourself, Emily, not us. You wanted the safety of my love with the thrill of someone else's arms. And now you want me to pretend none of it happened." She tried to reach for my hand. I pulled away. "She's innocent," Emily said. "She doesn't deserve to be abandoned." "She's not mine," I replied. "You stole that from me. You stole my right to be a real father, to have a child I knew was mine. And now you want me to clean up the mess you made?" "You already love her," she said softly. "I've seen it. The way you hold her, the way she looks at you, you're already her father." That broke me, because she was right. In some twisted, cruel way, I did love Ava. Not because she was mine, but because I had been there from the beginning. Because I fed her at 3 a.m. Because I rocked her until she fell asleep. Because I was the first man she smiled at. I didn't sleep that night. I packed a bag the next morning and moved into my brother Mark's guest room. He didn't ask questions, just offered me a drink in silence. Days passed in a haze. Emily didn't text, I didn't reach out. But every night I thought about Ava, her soft cries, the way she gripped my finger like she didn't want to let go. I thought I could move on, but I couldn't. Then, 3 weeks later, Emily texted. She said "da-da" today. I stared at the screen for what felt like an hour. Another message followed. She cried all night. I think she misses you. Was it manipulation? Was it real? I didn't know. I didn't reply. Not immediately, but I thought about her every day. I finally asked Emily to meet me at a park. Neutral ground. I needed to see Ava again, but I also needed answers. Emily showed up with Ava in a stroller. The baby looked at me and smiled, like nothing had changed, like I hadn't disappeared. I sat across from Emily on a bench. "I'm not here to talk about us," I said. "I'll never trust you again. I can't. But I can't pretend Ava doesn't exist." Emily nodded, her eyes filled with sadness. "She needs you." "No," I corrected. "You need me, because the real father isn't around. And now you're hoping I'll pick up the pieces. I'm not going to be her father, not legally, not in name, but I can be there. For her." That's how it started. Once a week visits, no paperwork, no titles, just me and Ava. At first it was hard. I'd look at her and feel that hollow ache in my chest. But she didn't lie to me, she didn't choose this. And over time, the ache changed. It didn't disappear, but it softened. She began to call me Jay instead of Dada. I accepted it. It felt right. Honest. Emily and I remained civil, but distant. We communicated only about Ava. There were no romantic gestures, no apologies that could fix the past. I had forgiven her only enough to exist in the same space, for Ava's sake. Years passed. Ava learned to walk, to talk, to draw little stick figures that always included me. I never stopped showing up. Birthday parties, doctor's visits. Even when I began dating again, I made it clear. Ava was part of my life. I eventually met someone, Rachel. She was kind, patient, and understood that love can be complicated. She met Ava and adored her instantly. Ava hugged her like she'd always been there. I watched from a distance as Emily stood on her porch, watching us leave hand in hand. She said nothing, just stared. I didn't wave. I didn't owe her anything. Ava had been born from a betrayal. But she had become something pure, something that made me believe love wasn't always about blood. It was about choice. I found out the baby wasn't mine, and I never played the happy family, but I showed up anyway, for her, and that was enough.